Maybe. Is that okay with everybody? Y'all good with recording? Thumbs up. Maybe while we're waiting for a couple other people to come on, if you guys want to put in the chat, just say hello, where you're from. I see Carlotta there from New York City. Fun, fun, fun. I'm going to give like just maybe one more minute because we budgeted only 30 minutes. So we have a lot to cover in our 30 minutes. But I'm sure people will be coming on for another few more minutes here. Hi, Eric from Hamburg. Now we got Tamiko in Oakland weighing in from the West Coast there. Fort Wayne, Indiana. Snowy, Montana. All right. Well, so I'm Donna, one of the Donna Novitsky, one of the co-founders of Yiftee. Super excited to be here with you, kicking off this holiday season. Of course, Yiftee's been in holiday mode since mid-September. Been super exciting around here. A lot of new communities coming on board. A lot of people thinking about doing bonus programs, BOGO programs. We'll talk a little bit about that. But before I just dive into presentation, I'd like to introduce my colleague, Pat Hart. Hey, Pat.
Hey guys, how we doing?
So Pat joined us last summer and is working with us on enterprise sales, and he will be talking about what he's been doing and how he can help recruit and bulk purchases for you guys. So without further ado, I'm going to just grab the screen and let's do some holiday marketing. So what we're going to talk about here is various different ideas for you guys to promote your card during the holiday seasons. But just to set some context, I know many of you have been with us for more than a year, and so you experienced last year's holiday season, but we did some numbers for you. So looking at a couple hundred, the 200 of our most active programs, in those 200 programs, there are 9,000 different merchants. So super exciting to be able to bring real business into 9,000 different local shops and restaurants. So on average, there are about 45 different merchants per community card. Last holiday season, just in the months of November and December, those 200 communities sold on average $30,000 worth of cards. So huge amount of business. It varies a lot from $1,000 to a lot more, hundreds of thousands of dollars. So there's a big standard deviation on that. But the potential is there. It really is dependent on your ability to reach out to the community and make sure people are aware of this program. So the average card value was $75, which is probably higher than you're thinking, but people really invest in these cards. And what we've seen in some analysis that we've done is card holders typically spend about 30% more. So on average, if someone buys a $75 card, they're spending probably $100 in your local stores. On average, they sold 400 cards per community over just in November and December. And that represents 1,500 different transactions, because there are usually 2 or 3 different transactions, even 4 different transactions per card. So someone will go get a cup of coffee,
God.
then they'll go buy something in a boutique or maybe get a haircut or whatever. So there are multiple transactions. We also have seen that 51% of cardholders will try a new spot because they have a community card. So it's got money on it. I've been meaning to go to that new boba tea shop. I'm going to go check it out now. So some of the merchants get more involved than others in promoting the program. Obviously, if the merchants promote the program to their mailing list and their customer list, they're going to get more business from it. So it's kind of a win-win for them. But those who are promoting also drive business for the smaller merchants or the newer merchants who may not be doing as much promotion yet. So how you can do this. So it's about 3 things. 1 is recruiting sponsors, 2 is local marketing programs, and 3 is what Pat's going to talk about, enterprise bulk purchases. So recruiting sponsors. We've done over the last couple of years a number of small, medium, and large bonus programs, ranging from anywhere from a couple $1,000s to our biggest ones are $500,000 bonus programs. Most of those really large ones are American Rescue Plan money, ARPA funds, COVID relief funds. Those monies are still available in some cities. So if you haven't already asked your city Office of Economic Development what the status of that budget is, you might want to do that. The law on that is that it has to be allocated by the end of 2024 and spent by the end of 2026. We're only in 2023, so there are still dollars floating around out there. So ask your city office of Economic Development if any of that budget is still around, because what we can do with that is triple or quadruple the value of that money in terms of benefit to the community. The consumer is going to buy a card. In this example we're showing, they buy a $100 card, they get a free $50 card. So that's bringing $150 into the pockets of the local shops and restaurants. So it's tripling the amount of the grant money. When there's not ARPA funds available, what we've seen, sometimes you'll see donations from community-minded organizations in exchange for marketing value, or even a group of community-minded organizations. You could get a bunch of realtors, banks, travel offices, employers to chip in, $2,000 or $3,000 a piece, and before you know it, you have $10,000 or $15,000 to run a bonus program, and then you could turn that into $45,000 in terms of benefit to the small businesses. What these sponsors get in exchange for giving you money for bonus programs is recognition. So we now have the ability on Yiftee to be able to put logos of your hometown hero sponsors on your e-gift page, like we're showing here, sponsor logos. And so, you want to put their branding front and center. And we have a bunch of different ideas for promotions. So here's just a laundry list of all the places that you can recognize your sponsors on the card itself, on the bonus cards, on the website, on your marketing materials, on your window clings, in the merchant stores, social media, all kinds of different ways to give recognition. And Yiftee is more than happy to help you create these marketing materials here, and we're happy to assign them to help you with some of the graphics that you might need to recognize your sponsors. You could get fancy with these sponsorship programs. You don't have to, but I've seen some where they'll set up different levels of sponsorship, so you could be a bronze sponsor or a silver sponsor or a gold sponsor and get different types of benefits. We'll send these slides out to you, so you don't have to write all this down. You can take a look at it at your convenience. So, and the bottom line, so that's what the sponsorship programs are all about. But why would someone sponsor your shop local program? Because small businesses need our help, because 99% of US businesses are small businesses. It's 60 million US jobs and this money is getting circulated back into the community where it comes from. So A statistic that kind of surprised me is after the last recession in 2008, 2009, it took the small businesses 6 years to recover. So many of these small businesses are still hurting from the pandemic. They got hit the hardest on the supply chain issues, and so they really still need our help. So part 2, how can you, apart from sponsors, how can you just get the word out in your community? Sharing a number of ideas that we've seen in kind of you get our best practice emails every week. We try to send out a best practice, which is usually something that we've learned from other organizations like yours. And so we created here on your e-gift card portal. So when you log in and you're logged into your site, you first land on the page that shows how much your sales have been. If you look at the top of that page, you'll see a number of tabs there. And on the far left, it says e-gift, and then it says order desk, which is a new tool that you can use to sell your cards in your office if someone walks in and wants to buy one. But then there's a tab called marketing resources. If you click on this tab, it's going to take you to the Yiftee page, which I will show you right here. It's going to take you to this page where there's a link here for marketing materials for organizers. And you have here all kinds of materials. We're working right now with Frank Kenny and Norma Davey on Chamber Pro's small business season. So there's some materials for them. We have checklists that'll give you ideas for different marketing programs. We have marketing materials to recruit sponsors for you. We have all the best practices, almost 40 different best practices here. So if you're looking for ideas about, say, how can you get realtors to give these gifts to their clients, or how can you get corporations to give gifts to their employees, or in-store signage, all kinds of different ideas here under best practices. There's designs here. If you want new flyers or window clings, you can just use Canva to edit our designs and have them printed locally, or we can print them for you. And then one of the hot items is making sure your merchants are trained. So there's merchant training here, there's videos, and there's press materials. So we've got a holiday press release, other holiday marketing flyers and whatnot. So just cruise on in here from your portal, and you can see all the different materials that we have to offer. And if it's not there, let us know and we'll make it for you. So we're happy to back you up on all that stuff, social media content, you name it. Okay, activate the merchants to expand your reach. So yes, you as chambers and downtown associations and main streets and cities, you've got your mailing list, but your merchants have their mailing lists as well. They have their social media outreach. So if you can get them, give them some materials to get them to help promote the card, it's in their best interest because these people are going to come shopping in their stores. And so you get them to put a blurb in their own newsletter, post something on their own social media, engage in their own marketing work, make sure their signage is up, make sure their cashiers are trained.
Go? Come on.
So, and then there's some creative local marketing that really works. So some people put signs on the floor. You know, these kind of came up, we've all seen them for standing 6 feet apart. Now you don't have to stand 6 feet apart so much anymore, but it's a great way to get people's attention. So signage on the ground, posters like this, banners across your main street, these types of things. Now, if you're going to do something like this, now's the time to do it, or coming up here, Black Friday timeframe is the time to do it because that's when everyone's thinking about shopping. Videos, Berkeley Bucks did an awesome video that did marketing on their socials. Using your cards. I think all of you do this anyway, community events. So if you're having a Christmas tree lighting ceremony, for instance, you could set up order desk to actually sell cards at that event. So while people are there watching the tree get decorated and the lights come on, they could be doing their Christmas shopping and buying your community cards. So order desk is a feature. You saw it on the portal. It's a tab on the top of your portal. And what that is going to do is people can come into your office or at a booth at the Christmas tree lighting ceremony or a parade and buy a card. And what we'll do is send it immediately to the printer so you can hand it to them on the spot. They're not going to have to wait to get it. That's available for you. A lot of you already use the cards for prizes and awards. Or I know other groups have used it for local conferences, sports tournaments, things like that, where people that are coming into town can use the program to get lunch at local restaurants and things like that. We do a lot of business with realtors and developers. We've sold to developers who will offer everybody who rents an apartment in a new apartment building, they'll give a welcome to town gift, or holiday gifts, things like that. Hotels and visitor offices, City of Pacifica did a really clever workation program, which was attracting people to come and stay at their hotels during midweek. And in exchange for booking a hotel, they got a $50 Shop Local Pacifica card to spend to go out to dinner after their work days. So lots of clever ideas. Schools and universities have been big buyers of the program. And I'm going to let Pat dive some more into that and turn it over to you right now, Pat.
Sorry, I was saying I'm gonna take the screen if that's all right.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. So this is great, guys. Great turnout. I recognize a few names, a few faces, so it's good to see y'all again. By way of introduction, for those of you who I haven't had the good fortune to meet yet, my background, about 15 years in sales, predominantly healthcare, medical, pharma, biopharma, and generally always working in enterprise. I've worked with most of the Fortune 100 at some point or another. Think of anybody in top 10 pharma, those are the folks that I've dealt with a lot, some of your major healthcare systems. So enterprise sales is near and dear to my heart, though it is always a gruesome, vicious battle, but it's a lot of fun too. So we're going to go over what we plan on doing, how we're doing it, and just some reasons why we're doing it, I guess. Be a good way to put it. Okay. So huge potential for enterprise sales in this space, guys. Last year, Yiftee did about 25% of community card sales to enterprises, and that's without any reach out. So I'm doing the reach out now. So we expect a whole lot more to come in that way, but we didn't have any dedicated resources towards actually selling the program. Enterprises are spending about $60 billion on gift cards per year. I mean, that is just an insane amount of money, but problem is, it's all going to Amazon, it's going to Starbucks, it's going to big national brands. They're not going to buy individual small business gift cards, but they do buy community cards because there are a lot of local choices. So something for everyone, and probably most importantly, they get to send the message that they care about the community, right? So there's awesome press to be had from this. Who buys them? Well, like Donna mentioned, you're looking at healthcare, academic institutions, realtors, law firms, city government, banks. To give you a couple of examples, guys, Quicken Loans has done over $1 million into Detroit. American Financial, over 500K. Academically speaking, Kent State bought 80K worth to give to the faculty and staff. They did it again this year. But you've got groups like American WeatherTech. I mean, this is an exterior modeling company. They spent nearly $20,000 into the program. Super Holiday Tours, a tour company. They bought over $10,000 for the folks who booked travel tours with them. Anybody is a potential for this program. But the problem is the lack of education, right? We got to get the word out. We got to let them know there are other ways to do employee rewards, bonuses, prizes, your holiday gifts, obviously. It's all about education. So why do they buy them? Well, number one, they're unique and unexpected, right? If there's one thing I've learned since joining Yiftee, it's the only reason we're not bigger and we don't have a program in every city is, again, because of that lack of education. People just don't know there are alternatives to Amazon or Starbucks or those other bigger names. So really, again, you know, the phrase, "I never heard of that before," or something very similar said on almost every phone call I've had. And it brings to mind that there is a huge chasm, a huge lack of information about the alternatives. Two, you know, they support their employees' favorite local businesses. That's fairly straightforward. Everybody wants to go to where they want to go to. Three, recipients, right? They get to choose where to spend them. They get to have fun doing it. They're out in their community. They've got a multitude of choices as to where they can go. They get to know that they're doing something better than buying a deal of the day on Amazon Prime just for the 20-second thrill of getting a package sent to their house, which we all do, and we all do it all the time. And the enterprise gets to show off their support for the local community. So not a business out there, especially in this era, that doesn't leap at the chance to talk about how much good they're doing, how great they are. You know, they'll all die on that cross. So it's a great reason to get them that exposure for sure. So we've got the community patron card. Now, there are no e-delivery fees on this, guys. This is really cool. We found out that one of the biggest hindrances, one of the biggest hurdles to getting enterprises involved was that they'd have to pay a delivery fee or they'd have to pay a charge, some sort of fee or cost when it came to getting these particular cards. So we got rid of them. Boom, they're gone. They're only available for enterprise customers, not individual consumers. So your gmail.com address folk, they're not getting these. This is internal use. These are for the gifts, rewards, promotions. They're not used for, you know, the individual fellow who wants to go about it. But here's how to get them for your customers. So outreach to larger organizations, right? Target industries like we talked about. We will do all that outreach. Specifically, I will do all that outreach for you, for sure. Now, the folks that I'm working with are the folks who get me this information. You get me the lists of folks, you get me the potential businesses, you get me points of contact. Even better, if you can, you get me introductions via email or you set up a meeting. That's fantastic. That's a great way to do it. I understand that's not always possible, but getting me lists of people that I can reach out to, I'm happy to do that. But if you don't know, we have almost 600 communities in the Yiftee program. So I can't work with 600 communities. Who I am working with is all the folks who want to work with us, who proactively get me those lists. Those are the folks that we want to work with because we know how committed they are. So that's who we're doing a lot of our work for. The pitch. So what are the things that we focus on? If you want to do this yourself, if you want to do any reach out, if you guys have some downtime or you want to make a few phone calls yourselves, the folks that we're generally speaking with in the areas in which we've had the most success include your HR, benefits, rewards, you know, total rewards. That is a title. Not every organization has them, but when they do, it's good as gold. HR folk, they're always going to deal with it. The smaller the company you have, the more different hats the HR people wear. As you get into bigger companies, it becomes more specialization. So it's a little bit harder to really get under the thumb the right person. Community engagement and community outreach, always great places to start. A lot of folks have community engagement programs, a lot of corporations rather. So they've always got somebody who's looking to do partnerships with different organizations or does charitable business or social responsibility, civic responsibility, you know, whatever you want to call it. And department managers, you know, if you get to those bigger organizations, department managers have their own budget. They can allocate X amount of money, you know, to whatever sort of gifts they want to give for their folks, for their underlings, if you will. Key talking points. So again, employee appreciation. This is how you spot bonus. This is how you do holiday gifts in place of, you know, those bigger names. Unique and personal gifts, supporting our local merchants. Guys, you're supporting your friends, your family, your neighbors. This is all community focused. You know, pull on the heartstrings. Don't be afraid to lay into them with some guilt. It's good for them. Fun experience for the employee to redeem in one or many number of shops and restaurants in their program. So this is actually really cool. So to go off on a little bit of a tangent, not too much, I promise. I know we're pinched for time. But I live in Charleston, South Carolina, and I didn't know until I started working for Yiftee that we had a program down the beach. Now, generally, you don't need an excuse to go to the beach, but it's just another reason to go. So it's really cool to find out, like, oh my gosh, I didn't even know this existed. I can also support the community while I'm sitting at this beach bar with my beer and my crab legs. It's perfect. One thing I love to say, you get to give twice, because actually you do. So it's not as corny as it really comes off. One, you get to give the reward to your actual employee, your teammate, your coworker, your colleague, however you want to phrase it. So they still get a gift, even if you have that employee rewards program. This doesn't cost you any more money. You're going to spend the same amount. This time, when you spend it and you give to that employee, they then spend it at the community. So two different parties win. So it's a great reason to get involved in the program. So let us help submit your leads. Now, there's two ways to do this. You can do it just like it shows here. You guys have all seen this page before. Volume discount program. That's what we're talking about. Bulk sales, enterprise sales, you know, whatever semantics you want to use. But more info will bring you to this guy over here. this is how you can submit a lead. This will come directly to me, or, which is probably a little bit easier, you can just email me, or you can give me a call. Either way, I'm happy to speak with you. Shoot me over those leads. Like I mentioned, if it is possible to do an introduction via that email, CC me on it. Hey, just wanted to include Pat. He's part of this program that we work with. He's doing great things for the community. He'd love to chat with you about how you can get involved. Awesome. Perfect. But that's sort of the long and short of it. Anybody at all, bring them on. Bring on the questions.
We will get a copy of the recording
Yes.
afterwards.
Yeah,
that
we'll
right,
send
Donna?
around.
Okay.
We'll send around the recording, and we will send around the slides.
Cool.
But happy to take, I guess we have a few minutes for questions. I wanted to make sure and leave you a little bit of time. Anybody have any burning questions?
So about that, would it be possible then to get my Chamber of Commerce to set up a vendor account if they kicked up $1,000?
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely.
Okay,
Yep.
and that gets you what feeless gift cards?
That's correct. So you get your own private account called a patron account. There's no fees, there's no delivery charges on it, and it works just like a regular account. So you're going to be able to schedule in advance. If you wanted to send all your Christmas cards today, you could schedule them to be delivered on the 25th. It's super, super easy. I mean, we tried to make this as streamlined as possible, so there's no middleman work to be done. You can just go into your own account, log in, bing, bang, boom, Christmas card sent.
Thank you.
Other questions?
Nobody else? I did that good of a job? Unbelievable.
You did great.
You did do a good job. You talk too fast.
I have a quick question.
It's because I'm a New Englander. I'm sorry.
I know, me too.
I have a quick question,
Go
Pat.
for it, Carlotta.
Can you just expand on enterprises and what you consider to fall under that?
Yeah, great question. So ultimately what we're looking at are organizations that are just on either side, to start just on either side of 200, really. The simple thought process there is that the more people that are part of the group, the more money potential to be, pushed back into the program. So we're looking at about 200 plus. We're not industry specific, because like we mentioned, anybody can be part of this. But it's really just larger groups is what we're thinking.
So the main thing is they cannot be buying, in order to qualify for a patron account, they cannot be buying cards for their own use. They have to be giving them to someone else, giving them to an employee, giving them to a client, giving them to a third party. That's how we do that.
Thank you.
Sure. What else? All right. Well, thank you all for coming. I hope that information is useful to you. And as I said before, we are more than happy to, if you don't find something that you need to help market your holiday programs, by all means, contact us. If you need it, someone else needs it, we'll create it. We'll put it out there. We'll probably do a best practice on it and send it around to everybody. So whatever we can do to help. Yiftee, as I mentioned, is thanks to your involvement, we've been able to grow, added a few people to the team. And so we're definitely here to serve you. So super excited for this holiday season. Let's go sell another 10 or $15 million worth of cards that are going to support small businesses.
Thanks to your help, we can keep doing that. How's
Thank you.
that?
Anybody that wants to stay on and ask questions one-on-one, feel free. The rest of you, happy holidays.
Thanks, guys.
Donna, I think you
Hey,
should come northeast and we'll do a conference around this.
That sounds like fun.
You're on the opposite side of the country, but now we have Pat, and Pat, you're on my side of the country, and I'm going to take
right,
it.
that's right.
It seems like
Absolutely.
Yiftee, the center of gravity of Yiftee has migrated further and further